You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes.
Welcome to You Have 2 Minutes in association with OK T-Shirt.
Welcome to the latest episode of You Have 2 Minutes, and tonight I'm delighted to be joined by the 2015 BDO Darts World Champion and avid Poole Pirates supporter, Scott Mitchell. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm really good, mate. I'm really good. We've had a lovely sunny day today, so mustn't complain.
So we touched on there just in the introduction, you're an avid Poole Pirates supporter. Where did your love affair of Speedway as a whole start?
I live in this small village on the edge of the New Forest, and my mum and dad and nearly the whole village used to go to the Pirates all the way through the 60s in sort of their teens and stuff. So when I was born, and I'm really old now, 1970, I went to my first meeting at Wimborne Road as a 2-week-old in a carry cot. You know, the minute mum came out of hospital, they were back at Speedway. So back in them days, I probably used to watch the tractor till I was about 5 years old, more than the bike. So I probably, was playing with my mates, running around the pylons and stuff until then. And, it's funny that some of those guys I still see now, they came from all walks of life, we did. And we bump into each other now still. One of them's a crack-hot poker player that plays in Vegas. I'm a dart player. Another one with a British Championship motocrosser. And this was 5 or 6 of us that used to go to Speedway at Poole every week. It was just an amazing time.
And as a Poole Pirates supporter, you've become accustomed to success over the years. Is it easy to follow a club that's as successful as Poole are, or is it just the Speedway as a whole that draws you in?
No, Speedway as a whole, really. I think we had many, many years where probably before the Matt Ford era that we weren't winning a great deal, and we were riding a lot of challenge matches, and because we were getting knocked out of everything. So. It's taken its time, but obviously the Matt Ford years have been superb, and now we've got Danny sort of running it from day to day, and probably, Matt's still having a big say. Well, I do know because Matt tells me he still likes to keep his hand in. So, we've been very fortunate probably in the last 20 odd years, yeah.
And people watching this may recognise your voice if they watch the Poole streams. You're the commentator for the Pirates streams now. How did all that come about?
That's a real weird one because I actually kind of applied to Rerun. Rerun were looking for a commentator to their existing commentator was taking on more stuff to do with the Pirates more officially, and obviously Rerun were coming in and hanging out on the first bend and needed a commentator, and I gave him a call and I said, Rob said, is that Scott Mitchell, like the dart player Scott Mitchell? I said, yeah, I go every week. I'll give it a go if you want. I said, it's not live, is it? And he said, oh, no, it's not live. So I said, why don't we try a meeting or a couple of meetings, see what you think. I said, and worst thing is, if you don't like me, you can edit over me and do it from your place, but I'll give it a go. And that kind of happened. Then after 2 seasons with Rerun, Pirates TV came about. So I got the call to say Rerun weren't doing it anymore, and I was like unbelievably sad because I'd really got into it and really enjoyed it. Not because it was because it wasn't live. So, and I did it as kind of more like a fan zone. It was like, whoa, look out, rather than staying very professional. And it became liked. So within, I don't know, 3 hours, I think Danny Ford called me and said, is there any chance you would do our commentary? I said, what commentary are you talking about? And it was Pirates TV. So joined the team at Pirates TV, and what a great team we got. The cameraman that used to film for Rerun, Robbie, still stands next to me. So nothing's really changed there. And we've got Poole and Andy Haig, who are magnificent, and Rob Dyer, who's our Martin Brundle Roman reporter in the pit style person, and he doesn't even know who Martin Brundle is, and I keep referring him to it every week. He's our version of Martin Brundle, and he's got no idea who he is because he doesn't watch F1. So we've got a team of 5 of us that really, really love the club, and Dan Ford's quite happy for us to do it, or me to do it, as I see that as a bit of a fan zone, and whoa, this is a bit hairy, ladies and gentlemen, and just not doing it as a normal thing. Whether that's ever going to get me any work anywhere else with another club, probably not, because I look so Poole biased while I'm doing it. But that's the way we do it, and we've got quite a strong fan base of Poole fans who tune in every week from all across the globes of the world. And in the future, I do darts commentary as well. So the more live time that I get to practice the trade, the better I will be, and the more lead-ins and the more lead-outs. And so for me, it's very beneficial on both counts. The fact that I get to watch my beloved Pirates from grandstand seat every week, right by the start, perfect. And I get to talk about it as well, and say what I'm thinking in my mind. It's a very honoured job, and I'm very proud to do it. And I hope that I don't ever lose the job. I hope I keep it forever.
And with you being the solo commentator, you've experienced doing commentary solo. Now, how difficult is that to find time to fill during track grades and stuff, being on your own?
It's the crashing incidents when it takes 40 minutes to mend the fence and things like that. And we have things in place. We have races from previous meetings where the clubs have met. We have 4 or 5 of those in place so that we can go through those, and then obviously I'm watching the pictures, and we get some of the information in our ear about what's going on. So or the producer does, and then he transfers that to me, Andy Haig, and says, it's going to be 20 minutes before the fence is going to be mended, and they got to wait for a bit of concrete to set or something. And I just say what it is and how it is. And the advantage that we have with Pirates TV, we have a roaming camera. So Paul Haig is on that camera. He can go around looking at what the incident is, go up to the fence. So we're not stuck with 2 or 3 static cameras that you can't work, and you're beaming from a mile away. We've got this one roving camera that absolutely gets us out of the mire. It really does.
It's been a few years now since Poole dropped down into the Championship from the Premiership, and people say every year, I wonder if Poole will go back up, but obviously with Thursdays being the protected race night for the Premiership at the moment, that's not viable. Would you, as a supporter, like to see Poole back in the top flight of British Speedway one day?
Yeah, of course we would. I mean, we'd love to see him back in it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about making ends meet with Speedway, and we're in a difficult situation where we don't own our track, so we're hiring the track before we even start. Whereas if you're a Workington or whatever, and it's your track before you start, well, you're laughing. So we're not in that situation, and we can only get on the track at certain days as well. So we can't really be on there the day before track prepping for a meeting the next day, because you'd have to pay for that. So it doesn't make it viable. So most of the work is done during the day. There are stuff done at weekends. The stadium are pretty good with us. They allow us to go and clean the air fences and things at weekends. But there's a reason for it. And I rather than see us really sort of struggle financially from week to week, I want to. I'm not saying that we're not doing that now in the Championship, but I think the main reason was that the attendance has dropped on a Thursday and a Monday when sometimes we were riding, and at that time there were more Championship teams when we dropped down than there were Premiership teams. So we were going sometimes 2 and 3 weeks without a meeting, and of course people find something else to do, and then all of a sudden that meeting isn't quite so important. So we found that the attendances were dropping, and the particular race nights didn't work. And of course, most of the guys that we had sort of contract licenses to the club were not allowed to come over because the whole Poland thing was going on then as well. So it just didn't make financial sense to try and do it. So we dropped down. Lots of people were very disappointed, but I don't think they are now. Now we're always in the running and stuff. And I think we're not particularly fickle fans. We want to see great racing and we want to see good meetings. But it's the added bonus if you're winning at home every week. Everybody wants to still keep coming back, and 9 times out of 10, that's what's happening in the championship.
And Brummies fans and Poole fans have got a couple of riders alike that they can cheer on, with Zach Cook and Tom Brennan riding for both clubs. Particularly Tom Brennan, what kind of stature has he brought to the club now? Because there was a video posted the other day of him helping out Max Perry after the meeting, and for such a young lad, he's got a really mature head on his shoulders. And what advantage is that for Poole and as a supporter?
For me as a supporter, to see what he was doing with Max this week was, and Richard Lawson was helping out as well in the pits with him before he went out. Tom went out and jumped on his bike as well and absolutely rode the thing within an inch of his life. So he kind of showed Max that, yeah, the bike will go, mate. If you want it to go, the bike will go. So we forget that Max is such a young fella, and he came off such a big accident last year. It's difficult for him, but to have somebody like Tom come into the team, it really was a late signing. It was a signing out of left field. We didn't really expect that. And it was a surprise for me because he hadn't always gone that well at Poole until Glasgow came to town at the end of last year. he kind of put himself in the shop window last year. And I think most of the Poole fans are really, really happy to have him. I met him 3 or 4 years ago with Rerun. And he was a young man then, and I went to him, and he was just such a lovely guy to interview, and so happy to be involved. And he still seems like it every week. I was in the pits with him on away at Oxford the other week, where I had no Pirates TV sort of commitment, so I could wander around and have a chat with the lads. And he's just a really, really likable lad, and everything you see and every enthusiasm you see from him, he's just that lad. So I really hope he goes to the very top. Obviously, if he does, and we're in the championship, we won't see that much of him. But he'll still be one of our boys. Once you've been to Poole, once a pirate, you're always a pirate.
And we talk about Tom there. He raced in the Grand Prix qualifier today, agonisingly missed out on 10 points, just finished outside the top 4 spot needed. But he seems to take setbacks like that and use them as motivation almost to get better.
He's one of those that I think because he's got the right mental attitude, yeah, he's going to be gutted for 24 hours. Who wouldn't be? You know, to get onto the biggest stage of next year, it would be so good for him. But he's one of those that will then think, right, did I actually do anything wrong? Was it just one of those things? Was I a bit unfortunate? Rather than pick those headaches up and put them in a rucksack on his back and let him weigh him down, he's not one of those sorts of riders. He just lets it go and learns. And you know, I really see big things for that fellow. I really do. He is the real deal. And when you look at Ty at that age and you look at Lambert at that age, and there's lots and lots of similarities.
And over the years, you've seen some of the best riders in the world at Poole, you know, Chris Holden, Matt Sainofsky, and two of those, and Peter Pavlicki as well, who rides for Birmingham, I think, did a spell at Poole. You see names like that coming back into the sport now, into the top flight. Is that good as a supporter as well, to see those names back?
Absolutely. You know, Milik was back, and he was at Poole for a bit, and it's just lovely to see those guys coming back, and I think it's going to enhance the league immensely. But you know, we've got to keep them. You know, we can't have them doing a Nicky and having one ride and then disappearing. You know, and we need to keep them. But I think we've got a fella now, Tobias Thompson, and he's in his 30s, and he realises that if he's just coming 30, and if he realises that he needs this small track knowledge, you know, he came over before and he didn't pull up any trees anywhere. You know, he was another signing out of left field for the Pirates, and he's coming in and he's starting to do a really nice job at number 2. He's starting to get used to the tracks. The other day at Oxford, he'd never been there before, so you know, at times they're guessing at what setup to go out with, because our tracks are so very, very different to the tracks on the continent. I've been to meetings in Denmark when I've been out there playing darts, and they are so deep. The tracks are so deep. But everybody thinks that a deep track means lots more passing. It doesn't actually, because they're all going the same speed, just the same, because they're all in the deep stuff. So I see lots of things people saying about British Speedway not being exciting because the tracks are too slick and this, that, and the other. But a deep track is identically, everybody's still going the same speed.
And I remember before, I noticed this a few years back on your dart shirt, you used to have a Pirates logo on your sleeve. I've not noticed it for a couple of years now, but was it important for you to have that logo there? And
Very much so for me, because obviously lots of the guys, support, particularly when I was in the PDC, support like St Helens and Bradford Bulls. There's a lot of rugby league stuff that up there with those guys. But for me, I'm an avid Bournemouth fan, and I used to wear a little Bournemouth pin badge on me when I was in the BDO, and the Pirates logo on my sleeve. And then when I went to the PDC, they wouldn't allow it because it was part of a team name. They said it could incite trouble. I said probably the only way it's going to incite trouble is if I haven't got it on when I go home. It's not going to be one of those. So unfortunately, I had to stop it. So that's why it stopped. But I lost my tour card back at the start of the year. So yeah, I'll probably be putting them back on my next lot of shirts that I get. The skull and cross ones to be on there.
and your shirts for your darts are notoriously pink. Have you ever considered switching things up and including a Poole colour in there? You know, the blue or the white or.
Do you know what? Funny you should say that. I was thinking about it about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now that I'm able to do that, but the thing is with me, with being Scotty Dog, the brand is pink. I was the first guy to wear pink on TV. Few people tried it and never ever stuck with it, but I used to. It all came about with my local pub football team. I used to wear pink and black cycle shorts for the pub hacker team that we had over the road. Nobody came here to play football. We were rubbish. Pitch was like a cabbage patch, and yeah, you didn't come here to play football. You came here to survive. Country bumpkin. So yeah, and I used to wear black cycle shorts with a pink stripe on them, and I made the UK Open in 2009 and got on telly for the first time. Won a couple of rounds, then found myself live on Sky against Yellow Class and the world champion at the time. And when I came back to the AGM 2 weeks later, say, yeah, I'm going to be secretary of the football club again, and I'd had an injury by then, and they said, no, when you told us you played darts, we didn't realise you meant you could actually play darts. We thought you just popped out for a couple of beers on a Monday and had a few games. We didn't realise you were like standard to be on telly. So they bought me my first dart shirt as a leaving present from the football club, and that was pink and black. So it kind of stuck.
And we now touch on your darts career. One of the highlights, 2015 BDR World Champion beating Martin Adams in the final. What was that moment like for you?
It's the craziest of surreal moments, really. I know I'm Scotty Dog. I was the overwhelming underdog. Nobody sort of kind of expected it from me. But 2014, I'd won 9 ranking tournaments, which is kind of unheard of. If you win 4 or 5, you're doing really, really well. But I managed to win, I think it was 8 or 9 in that year. And I went and I put my bag in the boot of the car for me and the wife to go up to Lakeside and start the journey before the week even started. And she said, how do you think your chances are this year? And I said, well, I've got to be honest. If I don't win it this year, I'll never win it. But obviously then you go through all the turmoil of the week and the highs and the lows and the scrapes of getting by. But the winning moment, I actually had a dart to win it at 7-5, 7 sets to 5. And for some unknown reason, on that particular day, I would have just usually self-destructed and gone, oh my goodness, I've had a dart double 16. I've missed my chance to be world champion. And my head would have gone all crazy mad. But I'd had a word with my mind coach a couple of days before after one of the games. And he said, if things go wrong, you know what it feels like. If you miss a double to do something, to win a game, a semi-final, whatever, you know what it feels like. And in that moment, I thought, oh, that's lovely. Now I know what it feels like to go for a double to win the world championship. I won't make a mistake next time. And off I went, bong, bong, hit it. And then you've been playing for 2 hours, 45, 3 hours. Longest game I've ever played in. Still the longest game I've ever played in. And your head does a full 360. You've been trying so hard for 3 hours. And then the minute you hit it, your brain does a 360 and goes, how have I just done that? How have I done that? And you've been convincing yourself for 3 hours. And then I didn't know what to do. Martin was a great friend and always has been. Guided me and helped me through my darting career to that point. Hasn't helped me since, funny enough. No. Yeah. So I'm only joking. I call him my darts dad. Always called Martin my darts dad. And I just said I can't celebrate and give it large or anything. I said, I'm not disrespecting you, he said. And he grabbed me, shook me in that moment when I was in tears. And there's pictures of it around. So it's not about me anymore. It's about you. You're the world champion. go and see your people for the year. And most amazing feeling. And the only year that my dad ever made it to Lakeside every game. And there's lots of things that happened that were rarities. When the stars all line up, it's meant to be.
And you've made it to the top of darts. You've been a PDC tour card holder. You've played at the World Championships and all of that kind of stuff. You now mentioned at the start you've lost your tour card, but now there's kind of other opportunities in darts. You've got the WDF that's replaced the BDO. You've got Modus Super Series. You've got county and all that stuff. So is it sort of, although PDC is nice, is it not quite the pinnacle and the be all and end all anymore? There's other opportunities for you.
I mean, financially, if you go there and play well, yes, it is the be all and end all. But for those that are outside that top 64, you're making a few quid, but it's costing you a few quid to do as well. And a lot of the guys are outside the top 64 don't have the sponsorship that I have, which I'm very fortunate. Being a former world champion, I have. These guys are just the greatest people for me, and I'm extremely fortunate, but they're struggling to make ends meet all the time. Then it affects your game, and the way that you get a tour card, you have to go to Q school at the start of the year, and 24 guys or 25 guys lose their tour card, and 24, 25 new ones go back in. And year before last, I missed out by a point. 16 went in, and I was number 19, and that was one game. I lost one game maybe that I shouldn't have done, and that cost you. And then this year I went back, and I missed out again, but I missed out by a way this time. But all my 4 losses, all 4 went and got a tour card. So I think managers and sponsors will be paying me to go so that their guys get through next year, because I'll be the lucky charm if they play me. But you come away from it thinking there's nothing there, but in fact, I've got the World Seniors as well now. That's sort of come about in the last couple of years, and played in the World Championships of that one. And there's the Amateur Dart Series, like I say, the Super Series, where I'm commentating and playing on that. So, it has opened other doors. One door closed and another couple opened, if I'm totally honest.
And you talk on playing county there, and as we speak now, you're going to play darts in about an hour's time. When you play county and all of that stuff, are you Scott Mitchell, the former world champion, or Scott Mitchell, the lad from Dorset, just the same as everybody else?
In my head, I'm Scott Mitchell, the lad from Dorset, and I'm there with my mates trying to turn your county over, But in other people's heads, I'm Scott Mitchell, the former world champion. Can't believe he still plays county. Can't believe he stays loyal to his county, and it's something that's very special to me. I got dropped from Dorset 4 times back in the early days because I just couldn't win games. To then go on and be Dorset's first ever England player, and then go on and I've just picked up my 50th and 51st cap for England, and I'm back as captain. I was captain for 4 or 5 years, and then got the tour card and had to give the captaincy up because you sign yourself away to the PDC, and Mr. Hearn, he likes to huddle his boys up and girls, and because it's open now, we can have the ladies play with us as well. So and so I wasn't able to do it. So I had a couple of 3 years out, and then returned last year when I lost my card. And then the current England captain at the time, James Harrell, he got a card in January, so the space became available again, and I was asked to do it again, and truly honoured. So I was at the Six Nations Championship, the home internationals 3 weeks ago, and England picked up the crowns, which was good, and I won player of the tournament, which was lovely, and heading to the Six Nations Cup now in Ireland in June, and then hopefully I'll get picked for the Europe Cup down in we're going to Slovakia, I think, for the Europe Cup, for the WDF Europe Cup. So you say other doors have opened. It's your World Cup medals and your Europe Cup medals. It's funny where you see all the footballers get all these bonuses, and I picked up a World Cup as an England captain. I've got World Cup winning medals, World Cup silver medals, and still using the cheap toilet paper.
And on Thursday, I saw on your social media that you went to surprise a few fans that were playing in their little games room or whatever with the Premier League. Is that a perk of the job for you, that you're able to do that and just have a few games with people who look up to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's finding the time to do it. As you know, we've tried to get this Zoom meeting in for the last week and a bit, and it's just I'm so I get so busy, but I'm one of those that don't like to say no. And like the other week, if you've got a 15-year-old kid as a fan of yours, and he's 25 minutes up the road, and it's his birthday, and you know that him and his mates were having their own little Premier League style thing on a Thursday night every week because they love the darts, and you know they were all there. One had a Rob Cross shirt on, another one had a Jackpot shirt on. You know, I mean, it's just lovely to them. So they were having a little birthday game of darts on the Friday night, and for me to just wander in and say, it was just jaw dropping for them, lovely for me, so we did a bit of tuition, and then as per usual, kids get fed up with me after 10 minutes, and they went off playing football on the green. I ended up playing darts with the parents as well. Then they came back in, and we had another game, and that was all good.
And just finally, the other aspect of your life, you've got your own farm. How do you juggle the darts, the speedway, the farm life, and find the time for that?
I've got a very, very understanding family, extremely understanding family, extremely understanding friends. There is nothing that my friends won't do to help me. My son and my wife run the farm when I'm not here, and without them, the darts career just would not be possible because the farm is so busy. It's 7 days a week. You know, animals don't know that they can't eat tomorrow because I'm away. It can't happen. So that's the way we have to do it. That's the way we see it. So I'm very fortunate that my son could easily have not been into farming, and my daughter's into it as well. So she has a 9 to 5 job, but if there's anything that she can do in the evening, she comes out. And then I've got friends at weekends that will come and help. If Sharon's in problems, she just picks the phone up and somebody will be here. So I think that's probably why I'm like I am. It's all come to me later in life as well. I thought the darts was an old man's game, so I didn't really start taking it seriously till I was sort of 38, 39. So you know a lot more about life by then. You know, I'm 53 now, and I'm the old man of darts now. You know, everybody keeps calling me the old man. So, which is what I used to do to Wolfie and Tony O'Shea and Darryl. So, I'm pleased that I'm still here playing this well, because obviously with a farm like I have, you could get an injury tomorrow. You could break your finger, break your arm, get something in your eye. You know, it's such a dangerous industry. You do everything you can to make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, if you ask me, was I put on this earth to be a dart player or a farmer? I was definitely put here to be a farmer. Otherwise, there'd be little grooves in my fingers where the darts sit perfectly, and there's not. But my head works of looking after animals, looking after us, and there's a certain something. I don't think I'll ever be a rich farmer. There's no possibility of that. We're only a small holding, sort of like 90 acres or so. But I'll tell you what I will be. I'll be a happy farmer. That's all I need to be. We don't want to make money. We want to make ends meet so we can live where we live in the middle of nowhere and continue to do so. So there's lots of big farmers out there that do make an awful lot of money. But unfortunately, I drive around in an '07 Kia Sportage is my Land Rover that I bought for 580 quid. So that's my Land Rover. I don't have the new Land Rovers or anything like that. So, but I love the life. I love the life. It's just the most ideal thing. You couldn't get further away from darts if you tried. The pressure of everybody, 2,000 people cheering your name and everything, and it going wrong, and you just go and come home. You're in the middle of nowhere. Nobody can get at you. You don't have to answer your social media. And that's the way I kind of live life, really. And once one door closes for the darts and the disappointment, you come home and you're making sure that one of your cows is calving correctly, and you manage to keep that calf alive or whatever. Losing to whoever at a world championship all of a sudden becomes irrelevant.
And for anybody watching this now, where can they follow you on social media to keep up with your darts and all of that?
So I've got a website which is Scotty Dog Mitchell .co.uk, and that's sort of like gets updated with lots of bits and pieces. I'm also on Twitter at Scotty Dog Dart, or X as it's called now. That's how old I am. See, I keep getting it wrong. And I've got a fan page on Facebook, Scotty Dog Mitchell. So and then just come and join in. There's there are aspects of the farm. Don't come in thinking you're going to see all darts and stuff, because that's not going to happen. I think if you were looking this morning, I posted one this morning, me and the dog. I chucked the dog in the box on the back of the quad and went and checked my animals this morning, put my skid lid on. That's my Speedway. That is my quad bike. I keep thinking I'm, Super Simo or Mark Graham or Gary Havelock or Neil Middleditch. And yeah, when I get out there in the grass fields where the grass is a bit wet, I can pull the big sliders on my quad and stuff. It's slippery enough, so it's all good.
Well, Scott, massive thanks for taking the time to do this with me tonight, especially knowing that you're going to play darts in around an hour's time. I appreciate you fitting it in.
Last one of the season. We got a cup final tonight. It's a handicap cup final as well. So I think the team from another league, so they get like a 50-point start or a 75-point start on us. So if you draw one of the guys that can play well, and he goes off 140, all of a sudden you're 200 behind before you've even thrown a dart. So it can be a bit of a lottery, but I think it's important that people do, you can play more people with that handicap, so it makes sense. But last one, it's not nice playing darts when it's sunny outside in the evening. It's a winter sport, definitely.
Thanks for taking the time tonight, Scott, and good luck for the rest of the year with the darts and the commentary and the farming.
And good luck to our boys while they're riding for Birmingham, because we really like them. We really love them, mate. And good luck to you guys this year. And I'll be watching on BSN and everything. I've got all those. I can't stop watching it, to be honest. I love it. Absolutely love Speedway. So you guys take care, and great to be part of it, Dylan. I'll come on anytime you need me, mate.
Cheers, Scott.